The United Nations was created in 1945 with a grand vision to prevent wars, uphold human rights, and bring peace to the world. Yet today, it is often seen as weak, ineffective, and powerless. Why? Despite its global influence, why does the UN fail to make a real impact? Many people worldwide question the effectiveness and relevance of this international organization, leading us to ask why the UN is so useless. Before we begin the video, if you and your partner love exploring history, mysteries, and ancient civilizations, along with the hidden truths behind global institutions and the forces shaping our world, you're in the right place. Curious Couple HQ brings you eye-opening discussions, deep dives into the past, and critical analyses of the events that matter most. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Now let's get back to the video.
The United Nations was founded in 1945 in the aftermath of World War II, with the noble goal of promoting peace, international cooperation, and global security. Established to prevent future conflicts and foster diplomacy, the UN has grown into a vast organization with 193 member states and numerous specialized agencies such as the World Health Organization, WHO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the United Nations Security Council, UNSC. As a powerhouse on the global stage, the UN plays a crucial role in addressing pressing issues, including poverty alleviation, climate change, human rights advocacy, disaster relief, and conflict resolution. It spearheads humanitarian aid efforts, facilitates peacekeeping missions, and provides a platform for nations to collaborate on international policies. However, despite its significant influence, the UN has faced mounting criticism over the years. Detractors argue that its decision-making process is hindered by bureaucratic red tape, political gridlock, and inefficiency. Additionally, the organization has been criticized for its lack of enforcement power, its perceived bias in international affairs, and its failure to prevent or effectively respond to major humanitarian crises, genocides, and conflicts, such as those in Rwanda, Syria, and Yemen. The role of the permanent members of the Security Council, the US, China, Russia, France, and the UK, each wielding veto power, has also sparked debates about whether the UN can truly function as an impartial global body. While the UN remains an essential institution for diplomacy and global governance, ongoing debates continue about its relevance, effectiveness, and the need for reform to better address the evolving challenges of the modern world.
The United Nations peacekeeping operations are another major area of criticism, with many questioning their effectiveness, accountability, and overall impact. While peacekeepers are deployed with the mandate to protect civilians, monitor ceasefires, disarm combatants, and facilitate political transitions, they have frequently been accused of misconduct, corruption, and outright failure to prevent atrocities. In some cases, peacekeeping forces have been seen as ineffective, underfunded, or lacking the necessary authority to enforce peace. In contrast, in others, they have been accused of exacerbating the very conflicts they were meant to resolve. One of the most haunting failures of UN peacekeeping is the Rwandan genocide of 1994, where peacekeepers failed to intervene despite clear warnings of an impending massacre. In the months leading up to the genocide, UN peacekeeping forces, UNMIR, received intelligence reports indicating that extremist groups were preparing mass killings. However, due to bureaucratic delays, lack of a strong mandate, and political indifference from major world powers, the UN refused to send reinforcements or allow existing troops to take offensive action. As a result, over 800,000 Rwandans, mostly Tutsis and moderate Hutus, were slaughtered in just 100 days, while the world stood by. This catastrophic failure irreparably damaged the UN's credibility and exposed the organization's inability to act decisively in the face of genocide. Beyond Rwanda, UN peacekeeping failures have been repeated across multiple conflicts. Srebrenica Massacre, 1995. In Bosnia, UN peacekeepers failed to protect over 8,000 Bosniak men and boys who were slaughtered by Bosnian Serb forces, despite being stationed in the so-called safe zone. The peacekeepers, outnumbered and poorly equipped, did nothing as the massacre unfolded. Haiti Scandal, 2010s. UN peacekeepers were linked to a cholera outbreak that killed thousands, with evidence suggesting that the disease was introduced by UN troops from Nepal. Additionally, allegations of sexual abuse and exploitation by peacekeepers against local civilians, including minors, have further tarnished the UN's reputation. Ultimately, these repeated failures have led many to question whether UN peacekeeping missions are genuinely effective or merely symbolic. While there have been some success stories, such as peacekeeping efforts in Namibia, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, the pattern of inaction, misconduct, and lack of enforcement power has left a deep stain on the UN's reputation. Without major reforms to how peacekeeping missions are structured and enforced, critics argue that the UN will continue to fail in its fundamental mission of maintaining global peace and security. In conclusion, the question of why the UN is so useless is a complex and multifaceted issue. While the organization plays a crucial role in promoting international cooperation and peace, its structural flaws and operational challenges have led many to question its effectiveness. From bureaucratic hurdles to enforcement limitations, the UN faces numerous obstacles in fulfilling its mandate and living up to its potential. As we continue to navigate the complexities of global governance and humanitarian crises, it is essential for the UN to re-evaluate its practices, streamline its operations, and prioritize accountability and transparency. Only by addressing these fundamental issues can the UN regain the trust and confidence of the international community and fulfill its promise of a more peaceful and prosperous world for all. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of why the UN is so useless. We hope this discussion has sparked new perspectives and insights into the challenges facing the international community. Stay tuned for more provocative discussions and debates on our channel. And remember, the power to change the world lies in our hands. Let's make it count.